This week in MXA, episode number 243, presented by O'Neill Racing, we are riding the brand new 2026 Beta 350 two-stroke. Beta has a long history in the off-road world. Then they jumped into the motocross market with their 300cc RX two-stroke just a couple years ago. Now they have the 450 RX four-stroke, racing in MXGP and here in the AMA Supercross and Motocross series. And now they have a 350cc two-stroke. So no more 300cc, they got a 350 and they have a 250. We have both bikes, but in this video, we're gonna focus on this first ride of the 350cc RX two-stroke from Beta and give you guys all we know about it after day one. Rideability is the tagline for Beta USA, and it transfers from their 450 onto their two-stroke models as well. Rideability, what it means is it's easy to ride for the average rider. This is what they're tailored to. They're not trying to be the Yamaha 450, which is high horsepower, hard-hitting, low-end torque. They are trying to be the smooth, rideable brand, and that's exactly what this bike was. 350 two-stroke. I never even thought that this would ever be a thing. 300 cc's is usually plenty for a two-stroke, but Beta axed their 300 and they upgraded it to a 350, so we have both models now. First impressions on this bike, love the low-end smooth torque this engine has, and on the REM track, we were wide open. The track was smooth and just making loud two-stroke noises, but once I got onto the main track after we shot all the video portion, I really came to appreciate that low-end torque. Diving to the inside on a couple ruts, just rolling on the power. Stock jetting was perfect today here at Glen Helen, and I was pretty impressed with the low end on this thing. So what is it like to ride a 350cc two-stroke? Well, if you've ever ridden a 250 two-stroke, you know that that bike likes to be revved to the moon and you can continue to pull. The power window on a 250 two-stroke is usually pretty long and it's also pretty snappy off the bottom end. Comparing this engine to that, the bigger bore engines do have a shorter power window. If anybody's ridden a 500 two-stroke, you know you got to short shift that thing and it does not want to be revved high into the RPMs. It's better ridden lower RPMs, shifting quicker and lugging it around the track. 350 is kind of right in the middle. It's a little more than a 300cc obviously, but it does like to be ridden in the low to mid RPM range and it does like to be shifted a lot. I was getting fourth gear down most of the straightaways. I never actually got into fifth gear, so this thing has a whole nother gear, but it's pretty impressive how smooth it is to roll into the power. Very similar to the KTM 300, the fuel injected bike, but you don't have the drawbacks of a fuel injected two-stroke. You still get a carburetor with this thing. So I'm pretty impressed with how smooth this thing rolls into the power, and I'm super excited to compare it with our 250 two-stroke from Beta next week. We're gonna be putting time on both of these models. We'll come out with a more detailed video detailing everything about the 350 two-stroke, all we learn about it, comparing it to the 250 two-stroke, also comparing it to our fuel injected bikes from KTM and Husqvarna, the 250 and 300. And of course, we gotta throw our YZ 250 two-stroke in there as well from Yamaha. So pretty impressive. This thing has 2 spark plugs going into it. It's got a completely different bore and stroke than the 250 platform from Beta USA. So lots of cool stuff. I was really impressed with how this bike handled. I mean, the two-stroke engine and even the softer suspension that come on this compared to the 450. I raced our 450 RX this past Saturday. Definitely a little stiffer, a little bit harder to get comfortable with the front end, but these forks were super soft, but they were actually really nice to dive in and out of some ruts. So pretty excited to put some more time on this thing. As far as the looks go, we couldn't go more than 10 feet within the pits today without somebody stopping us to ask about this bike. Everybody's excited about the 350cc engine, but it's really the plastics that make Beta USA stand out. Bright red, bright blue, white mixed in, the red chromoly steel frame. Betas just look good, and I'm partial to that. I like bikes that are bright and just easy to pop out and stand out. So this thing looks sharp. Our DecalWorks graphics makes it perfect with the stock graphics, and excited to put some more time on this thing and compare it to that 250 next week. So stay tuned for more coverage on this thing. But as far as the looks go, you got the Brembo hydraulic clutch. It's anodized black up here. This thing's a pretty trick looking bike. Now, before we finish up this episode of This Week in MXA, we do got to tell you, Big Bear Grand Prix is this weekend right here in Southern California. We were up there last week touring around the track. Josh Fowler has been giving us all kinds of inside scoop on the pro sections they've built, and the track is going to be really, really cool. So we're excited to head up there. If you're going to Big Bear, come by, say hi to the MXA guys. Lots of people will be in orange helmets this weekend. And also, the last round of the Pro Motocross Series is coming up this weekend. It's going to be a good one. Budds Creek is the finale. Jet Lawrence already clinched the 450 championship, but Hayden Deegan, it's his time to clinch the 250 championship this weekend. So thanks to Onyx Off-Road for sponsoring the MXA Fantasy League. Onyx Off-Road, maps of all over for UTVs, off-road trucks, and dirt bikes, so you can get out and ride and find some awesome trails that are maybe right in your backyard. So thanks to Onyx Off-Road for supporting the MXA Fantasy League. It's free to download the app, free to play, and you can use the code MXA20 at Onyx Off-Road to get a discount with them. Thank you guys for sticking around. Next week's episode will have us all racing up at Big Bear, so stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more coverage on this Beta 350. Thank you guys for watching. Leave comments down below of what you want us to figure out about this bike for the next video, and we'll see you guys at the track.